Hey guys, it's Belle, and in this video we are going to be reading through and translating a fascinating short little poem, which is written in Old High German at the end of the 8th century, and it's commonly known as the Wessobrun charm or the Wessobrun prayer. And I just want to very quickly comment on the title of this De Poeta because it's quite interesting. So it's a Latin title, as many of these texts in medieval manuscripts tend to have, even if they're not written in Latin, and it literally means about the poet. Now, the reason this is confusing is because the text of the Old High German prayer that comes after this title is actually about God creating the universe, and so it's kind of curious that the title is on the poet. Until you remember that the Latin word poeta comes from a Greek noun, which I think is like poeti or something like this, which means the creator and is related ultimately to the Greek verb poiein, which is to make or to create. And so this word is punning on the Greek etymology of this name, which implies either that the scribe writing this has some knowledge of Greek, which is relatively unlikely. We do have evidence from St. Gall's monastery in Switzerland that there was some cultivation of Greek learning on the continent at this time, but more likely this is just a etymological tidbit that the scribe has heard somewhere or has read in a dictionary and is therefore incorporating into his work. And there's a couple of interesting things here as well that's a bit weird, like this Christogram here. It looked like it could be a Christogram or just some kind of weird thing. I mean, here it very much seems to be part of Christ, so XPI in terms of, or XRI for the key row. It's not clear what it's doing here, because here it would just be a key, right, or an X. Likewise, down here, it's a bit confusing. However, let's get on and start reading this bit in Old High German. And as usual, if you want to pause the video and have a go at translating the Old High German on your own using the gloss here before I give my translation, feel free to do so. And forgive me if my Old High German pronunciation is not very good, because it will not be. It's not one of my best languages. But anyway, De Poeta. Dat gafregen ich mit Firachim, Firwit zum Meister, dat nie was noch auf Himmel, noch Baum, noch Berg, nie was, nie Stern, noch Heinig, noch Sonne, nie Skein, noch Mano, nie Liuchta, noch dem Mare Seo. Do dar nie wicht, nie was, enteo, nie wenteo, enti do was der Eino allmächtigo Gott, Mano miltisto. Enti, da waren auch manche mit ihnen gottliche Geister. Enti, Gott heilig, Gott allmächtigo, du Himmel und die Erde geworchtos, enti du manum so manch Gott vergabi. Vergib mir in dino gnada rechter Glaupe, enti Gottan Willion, Wisdom enti Spachida, Trugida enti Kraft, Tiuflun zavidarstanzane, enti arc zapfissane, enti dinan Willion zagawarchane. All right, so what does all of this mean? Dat gafregen ich. I hear this, and this is a common sort of poetic phrase that you see in Old English, that you fry in ich. So again, I suspect this is one of these things that's common across the Germanic languages except for Gothic. Mit Firachim, Fürwitzelmeister, I hear the greatest of men's wisdoms among the men. So this is maybe evoking the image of learning about the origin of the world in a hall. And actually, we sort of see this reference. It could even be a reference not just to a church, but to a mead hall, because in Beowulf, and I'll be doing a lot of videos on Beowulf in 2023, just you wait for that. But in Beowulf, when the poet, I'm forgetting which chapter this is, but describes the feasting in Heorot, the poet actually says that they're talking about the creation of the world, how God made the world, and Adam and Eve and all the rest of this. They're not talking about the sort of pagan Viking sagas and legends that we might expect from Iron Age Scandinavians, you know? So it's quite possible that this is the kind of thing that was being spoken about in the halls. Now, to what extent is this volitional, as in the priests are writing this down and saying, you know, I heard this in halls and such, because this is what they want to be performed in the mead hall, and to what extent it's like, actually, this is the kind of thing that commoners are singing about, that's quite debatable. We definitely see in, oh goodness, I think it's Julian of Toledo's Ars Grammatica, we see some little references to common songs, which are sort of vulgar and maybe wouldn't be too appropriate in a religious context. So we know for a fact that they were singing about less holy, more profane things as well in some of these continental Germanic cultures. However, it's possible that they were actually singing about the creation of heaven and earth in the halls or in their taverns, and this is where the priest heard this to write it down. Who knows? So he heard the greatest of men's wisdoms. What is that wisdom? Dat ni was. So that previously there was not. Noch uf Himmel noch Palm. So there was neither. Uf Himmel is literally below the heavens, so it's a sort of poetic word for that which is beneath the sky, or earth in this case. Noch palm, nor a tree, noch pereg, nor a mountain. Ni was ni, nor was there. Sterre noch heinig, there was not a single star, noch sunna ni skyn, nor did the sun shine. Noch mano ni liuchta, noch der mare oseo, nor did the moon shine towards the ocean sea. Do dar ni nicht ni was enteo ni wenteo. So there was, as of yet, there was nothing of, this is an interesting one actually, enteo ni wenteo, of sort of exteriors or interiors. So this is literally sort of talking about the protoplasm, so to speak, before there was any distinction of form or shape or anything. And he do was der Eino allmächtige Gott. But nonetheless, there was the one Almighty God. Mano mildisto, the most merciful of men, because we must remember that in the medieval Catholic view, God, and therefore Jesus, also pre-existed all of this. So it's one of these Christian paradoxes where even though there was nothing, so there was no earth or tree or whatever, and nothing had a form, God still existed. And because God still existed, mankind still existed, and therefore God is the most mild of men. This could also maybe be read as like the mildest of people, because man can also have a more abstract sense in the medieval Germanic languages of meaning just a person. And I would lean towards that interpretation just because we literally don't have any humans yet. So it makes more sense to think of God's personhood pre-existing the actual physical earth rather than a human body in the form of Jesus, because Jesus' body didn't exist. That's why Christmas is an important holiday. So anyway, so there was nothing except God, the most merciful of men, enti dar waren auch, and there were also manche mit ihnen gottliche Geister. There were many godlike ghosts, or holy spirits. Mit inan. This is an interesting one, because mit usually takes a dative object, and we can see it here. Firachim up here, it takes a dative object, but inan is the accusative singular form of the masculine pronoun. So who knows what's going on there? It might just be a weird dialectical variant. Or it's possible that mit could have taken an accusative and a dative back then, who knows. So anyway, there was only God, and the godly spirits were also with him. Enti kot heilak, kot almaktigo, and O holy God, O almighty God. These are vocatives we can just tell from context. In Latin they would I would have put them in orange, you know. Du himmel en die Erde geworcht hast. You created heaven and earth. Enti du manum so manak kot forgapi. And you gave give so much good to men or to people. And now I feel that there is meant to be a sort of you who in here, like a relative pronoun, because then it switches into an imperative here. Vergib mir in dina gnada, sort of forgive me or grant me in your mercy. Recta galaupa, the correct faith, enti kotan willion, and goodwill, wisdom, enti spachita, wisdom and like prudence, basically. Tugida endi kraft, the virtue and the power. Tiuflun za vitalstandane, because vitalstandane as a verb takes a dative object. And just a quick thing, note this inflected infinitive ending is, I believe, the technical term for it, which we see in Old English as well, and we don't see it in Gothic or in Old Norse. So it's interesting that this inflectional infinitive ending is met with in Old English and also in Old High German. That's quite curious. I'm trying to think now whether it occurs in Old Saxon. I'll have to have a look. But anyway, so this means give me in your mercy the right belief, goodwill, wisdom, prudence, virtue and power in order to withstand the devils. Enti arc tsapivisane, and to sort of to push away, basically, or maybe even to advise or to be aware of. And then arc is related to that Norse word arger or rager or ergi as a noun form, meaning that which is evil, that which is wicked. Now, we don't have an I here, so I suspect this just means the evil one, referring to Satan. And it's interesting also that this can also have sort of connotations of sexual impropriety, which of course would be fit for Satan as well. So this prayer is also requesting for the power to repel Satan. Enti dinan willion za ga wurchane, and to perform, and in order to perform your will. So from start to finish, what this is I hear among men the greatest of men's wisdoms, that initially there was neither earth nor tree nor mountain, nor was there a single star, not even the sun shone, nor did the moon illuminate its light towards the ocean sea. Nonetheless, there was not yet anything of interiors or exteriors. But nonetheless, there was the one Almighty God, the most merciful of people. And there were also many godly ghosts with him. And O holy God, O Almighty God, you who created heaven and earth, and you who gave so many good things to mankind, give me in your mercy true belief and good will, wisdom and prudence, virtue and power, in order to resist the devils and to repel the wicked one and to perform your will. So there we go. That is that little poem, De Poeta. I hope you enjoyed that little Old High German tidbit. If you want me to teach you Latin, Old English or Gothic, I will not teach you Old High German because I'm not that good at it yet. But there's other languages. You can subscribe to my Patreon, and thank you so much to my 3 patrons who I have currently. You guys make these videos possible. You can also join my Discord server where we have individual channels for the different medieval languages that I do on this channel. And you can get early access there because I tend to turn these glosses, post these glosses rather, in my server before I turn them into videos. And until next time, like, comment, subscribe. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope you have a nice day. Bye everyone!